Time for the 49ers Rush Podcast. And here's your host, John Chapman.
What is going on, faithful? It is Thursday at 1 p.m. I don't care what Kyle Shanahan's schedule is. This is our time, baby, which means I'm with this awesome guy. It's mirrored. I got to point the other way. Brian McFadden with Legit Football, sporting his jersey. How you feeling, man?
I am feeling wonderful. I was telling you before we started recording, 3-0, my Miami Dolphins taking down the Super Bowl favorite, my Super Bowl favorite Bills. A lot of people's oneers too in power rankings. Might be 3-1 after tonight, but I don't care. Right now, I'm sporting the Miami pride.
And rightfully so. I mean, we love Miami. All of us are with you here.
Thank you for McDaniel. I'm just going to go ahead and put that out there.
He's unbelievable. I knew whenever he left, he was going to be successful. I was worried it was going to go. I didn't want it to be like Salah's tenure, you know. I'm so happy. Okay, real quick. We're going to talk all Niners. This is all NFC West. We're jumping into all NFC West this week, which I love these times. But I got to start with this. Mm-hmm. University of Cincinnati students break into Miami's practice and start filming their practice. They put it all over TikTok, share all the plays that they were running. Well, it turns out you go back and watch those videos. They got 12 players on offense for every one of the clips. Mike McDaniel saw what they were doing and said, you know what? Let's have some fun. Let's just everybody go out there. We're going to break the huddle with 12 and everybody just run your own damn routes. Let's just have some fun. So, man, McDaniel, salute. Trolling the trolls, which I just love, man. When was the last time you were this excited as a Dolphins fan?
It had to have been when we beat the Patriots in the Miami Miracle. That's it. That's as far away as it was. The last time we won the division was 2008. Last time we made the playoffs was 2016. It's not been a good time. We've never been horrible. That's almost been worse, John, is we haven't had that like number one overall pick excitement. We've always been 6-10, 10-6, mediocre, and to start 3-0 with some very, very hard opponents with multiple playoff teams in the Ravens and the Bills. It's even if we lose this week, I'm going to be riding high. Yep,
I love it, man. I'm pulling for you every time y'all play. All the way back to Ray Finkel, says James Ritchie. Laces out. Anyway, the whole idea is this. We love them until we play December 4th, which you and I are going to be at that game together, which I'm excited. That's the one home game we're throwing, 49ers Rush Road Trip. So if you want to come party with us in Santa Clara, we got the tailgate set up. We're trying to work on the party the night before and getting all that going, but tickets are available right now. 49ersrushroadtrip.com for that December.
We got to coordinate, John. I want to sit together. I don't have my tickets yet, so let's make that a thing. Let's make that a thing. I will sit in the middle of all of you 49ers faithful because you know I love you guys. I'll be wearing my aqua, but hey, let's have a good time.
Yes. Want to say shout out to Grant Asen. What's up, man? He became a YouTube member. Absolutely love it. A great way to support the channel and make sure that your questions and comments get featured because Clayton, the man behind the scene, whenever he sees those, he's throwing them up there right away. What's up, Sin? One of the best. Mike says a day with Chapman. Yeah, it's been a busy day. We got our Patreon breakdown on defense this morning. We had an episode with Johnny Dales at 10:30. Now we got the Legit Football Brian McFadden experience. It's a good day. And I'll add this. We have an extra live Patreon show tomorrow morning with 49ers Cutback, 10 a.m. So start your morning off right with our Patreon channel. Extra episode over there. What's up? It's Emilio. It was good to meet you in Denver. Denver was incredible. The game sucked. But the experience, hanging out with Navarro Bowman, but even more important, I spent more time with everybody else than I did Bowman. It was incredible meeting so many people. And if you haven't come out to a Rush Road Trip yet, come out, build the community, meet people. It's such a good time, man. It's my favorite thing about everything we've kind of created so far. Now, let's dive into football, my friend.
Let's do it.
Let's go through the NFC West in the order in which they play this week. The Seattle Seahawks are dogs at Detroit?
Nah, like what world are we living in? What universe is this? I've got 4.5 points on Run Your Pool, which is what I use. I don't know if that's the same as my bookie, but even if it's not, it's in the realm of like the Seattle Seahawks, who are perennially a playoff team, the Detroit Lions, who haven't won a playoff game in 40 years or something crazy like that, and they're favored by 4.5 points. The Lions, we watched them on Hard Knocks. We're really excited about them. That has not disappointed. They're, a bad kind of end of game script away from winning that game against Minnesota last week, which would have been a huge divisional win. They came back and almost beat the Eagles in week 1, who are one of the only 2 undefeated teams left, along with my Miami Dolphins. So this is a team that is legitimate. They do have some injury concerns. DeAndre Swift is looking like we'll miss this week at least.
Weird to me to hear you say legitimate, in Detroit Lions.
Detroit Lions, yeah.
In the same, it makes no sense to my brain head. It's confused.
So there's a couple factors for that. Dan Campbell's a huge factor. How many times do we say coaching matters? We got to see behind the curtain in Hard Knocks. We had him in Miami for a little while, so I had familiarity with Dan Campbell as a interim head coach. And I saw then how much players play for this guy and how much they're motivated. And there's certain coaches around the league. You're a big Tomlin fan. I like Vrabel. These are guys who are going to get the sum of their parts to work together better than their individual talent level. We're seeing that in Detroit. And hey, guess what? They also have some really good talent. Amon-Ra St. Brown, also an injury concern. Hopefully he plays this week. Already at least a top 20, if not getting into top 10 wide receiver range. He is that good in his second season.
You do that with Goff, you've got my respect, friend.
Right.
That's all I'm saying.
So I love this offense. This defense, they profile very similar. You guys, if you were listening and watching last week, I used a DVOA a lot. I'm a big fan of Football Outsiders DVOA. It's a way of comparing an entire team, whether they're individual units like offensive line, entire offense, entire team, versus what a league average would be and whether they add or subtract points. Lions profile very similar to Atlanta, but slightly better offense and much better defense. Well, Atlanta just beat the Seahawks by 4. So these are some of the factors I'm looking at. Detroit going home after that tough division loss. I like them playing at Ford Field there. Seattle with one of the worst defenses in the NFL right now. You guys know the Niners offense is not exactly gangbusters right now. Well, guess what? They scored 27 points on this Seahawks defense. So there's not a lot to like. On the other side of the ball, yes, Geno Smith is playing very efficient football, but he's not playing exciting football. They're playing for field goals, or they're playing for ball control and time of possession. And you know what? That doesn't really win games in the NFL, especially with an exciting offense like the Lions.
Here's what's crazy. The Lions currently have the number 2 offense in the NFL. Like, what in the world? They are airing the ball out with Goff. Mm-hmm. And now I do think that it takes a huge sidestep without Swift. He gets it all going.
Although Jamal Williams is no slouch. He has filled in nicely.
He's awesome.
Yeah.
Like he is, they're different, right? Like they're very, very different. Jamal Williams is just a pounder, but Swift is a Debo-esque type player that can kind of do it all in the passing game, running game, motion game, everything. My thing is this. Is it possible for the Seahawks to lose back-to-back weeks to the Falcons and the Lions? That is just...
This is the world we're living in. I think it is possible, and it is what I'm predicting to happen. I am taking the Lions to win and cover this game. If the Falcons can beat this team by 4, then I very strongly believe, even if Swift doesn't play, that the Lions can win by 5 points or more. This defense is better than what they faced in Atlanta. Much better pass rush with Aiden Hutchinson, and much better, like Jeff Okudah actually is finally starting to play like the top 3 pick that he was a couple years ago. So you have an Atlanta team that is really devoid of playmakers on defense, short of maybe AJ Terrell and Grady Jarrett, able to really slow this Seattle Seahawks offense down. I think the Lions are going to do an even better job of that. And like you said, number 2 offense in the NFL right now after 3 weeks. This isn't like a 1 week thing. So this is actually my most confident pick this week. You guys know I do a confidence rating on every one of my games against the spread.
Ooh.
Number 16, Lions covering 4.5 against the Seahawks. There you go.
I like it. I am going to say this, and I don't want to go against you here. I am doing a...
You can go against me. Feel free. Let's do it.
No. I think that the Lions will win this game. I really, really do. But I am going to be doing a teaser bet, +7 teaser bet, where I get the Seahawks +11.5.
Oh, yeah.
I'm doing that one.
So,
I have Seahawks losing, but my problem with the Lions, and I think we've seen this so far, is that they're learning how to win. And so, like, even the Commanders game where they were up by like 20-0 or something, you let them come back, right? So I could see something like that. So I have Detroit winning, but I'm doing a couple teaser bets this week with Seattle plus 11.5, which is just too much. It's just too many points.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. I see this as like a 27-20 type of game. The Lions win by 6 or 7, easily cover. But if you're getting an extra teaser, that's a slam dunk to me.
I love that you said that. The over-under is 48, so you put it right at 47. This guy knows what he's talking about, ladies and gentlemen.
It's like I do an NFL newsletter 5 days a week. Who would have thought?
Almost like you pay attention to this stuff. All right, let's go to the next NFC West matchup. Let's keep it in the division, obviously. The Cardinals, also dogs, on the road to the Carolina Panthers.
This one surprises me. No, this one surprises me. I'm not sure why. I think this is recency bias. The Panthers coming off their first win of the season against, let's face it, a kind of bad Saints team. This Saints team is 1 quarter away from being 0-3. Had they not had a run against the Falcons, who were beating them up for 3+ quarters, this Saints team would be 0-3. The offense is dreadful. And a Cardinals team that was just outmatched against the Rams. I think that's why I've got the Cardinals winning this game. I'm just going to go ahead and put that out there, which means they're also going to cover the fact that the Panthers are favored by 1.5. I don't get it. What is there to like? The Panthers defense is finally starting to show up a little bit, but Baker Mayfield looks awful. There's all sorts of clips. If you didn't even watch the game, if you're on Twitter, you see clips of him missing a wide open DJ Moore, throwing it like 4 yards over his head with zero pressure. And when he is pressured, he looks even worse. The only big score they had, the only reason their offense looked good at all last week is Laviska Shenault took a pass and went like 67 yards. Christian McCaffrey might not play. He's actually missed the last 2 practices.
That's huge to me. I like the Cardinals as well. If McCaffrey's out, holy bejesus, yeah, it's push the chips in, man.
Yeah, these 2 teams, at least through this part of the season, do profile very similarly on DVOA, and I don't like either of these coaches. We can call this the bad coach bowl. I think Rule is definitely out of a job at the end of the year. Kingsbury won't be out of a job because of his contract, but a lot of question marks in Arizona. But Kyler Murray, I think, is going to be the difference maker because he can run around against the Panthers defense that's shown flashes and has some playmakers, but has been a little inconsistent. In a game that's close like this, I do give the edge to Arizona. I don't like Carolina's offense, and they can't take advantage of the weaknesses that the Cardinals have on defense because they're just not moving the ball, especially through the air. The biggest weakness in Arizona is their secondary. So I give advantage Arizona. I think they'll win this game. You're right. If CMC doesn't play, even more so confident. I've got a 14 confident level. That's how confident I am that Arizona will cover. I can't believe they're underdogs. So yeah, there's my second high confident pick in the West.
You have so much confidence against the bottom of the NFC West. I wrote down some notes, and I think this is very telling. Last year, heading into Week 4, 2021, the NFC West was 9-3 with a combined record, best in the NFL. This year, 5-7, worst in the NFL. And what makes it even more crazy, they're tied for last place with the AFC West. What is happening?
That's just nuts. That's going to equal out. That is going to even out. You got to love the parity. We can't discount that, but that is going to even out as the season goes on. A lot of these AFC West teams, the Chiefs played the Chargers. The Chargers, Justin Herbert got injured. We could nitpick all that kind of stuff, but it is crazy to see the NFC West at 5-7. Also pretty confident that balances out, at least for the Niners and the Rams.
Yeah, and I'll say this about the Cardinals. They only have 1 turnover the entire year. They're protecting the ball. Their offense just isn't putting up the points that they're used to, and they're struggling finding their identity and all those things. But if you look at the Panthers, man, they won last week, barely. They were +3 in the turnover ratio. And Baker threw no interceptions. I do not count on that happening again. So even if the Panthers win, it's going to be close. It's going to be a close game. Again, another teaser special that I'm going to have a couple of those going out this week that I really, really like. The Cardinals are weird. And, them and the Seahawks 1-2. So are the 49ers. We'll talk about them in a second.
The Cardinals we have to remember they've played the Chiefs. They played the Raiders team, which was played very well in that first half, and then they played the Rams. These are teams that they have faced stiff competition. The Panthers are going to be far and away the easiest, the worst team they have played, both from a coaching standpoint and a roster standpoint. There's just a lot to like about Arizona in this game.
And they got the Eagles next up, so it's like if they don't win this one,
right, then they're really screwed.
It's going to get bad.
It's almost like you and I predicted, John, that the Cardinals would start rough and have a horrible start to the season. That's like we know what we're doing here.
Yeah, some of the stuff we get right. Some of the stuff not so much,
yeah,
but that's
true.
okay.
But that's everybody for you.
We'll take it. Now, before we jump into this 49ers Rams game, which I'm super excited about, real quick word from our sponsor. You know football, and you pick winners all the time, so why not get paid for them at MyBookie? Best single game spreads, money lines, parlays, teasers, multiple. You put it all together, increase your payouts however it is you want to go bet. They've got individual game lines, stats, who makes playoffs, who doesn't. Now, what's even better about it, low cost entry fees on over $500,000 to be won. Make it so you don't have to be a pro gambler to have fun. And that's what's awesome. You can bet a little bit. I'm an entertainment guy. I don't put a whole bunch on there, but getting started is easy. You just head to mybookie.ag, use our promo code 49ERS on your first deposit. They're going to double it all the way up, $1 for $1, up to $1,000 on your first deposit. So again, use our promo code 49ERS, double it all the way up to $1,000. MyBookie is a proven sportsbook that makes it simple to bet and win. We've used them for over 5 years now. So make this your winning season exclusively at MyBookie. All right, I do want to see, I saw a comment earlier asking about Azeez Al-Shaair. Now, he did not practice today. So if you're looking at the 49ers practice report heading into this Rams game, players that did not practice today, Eric Armstead seems to be in the same situation. Trent Williams, he's going to be out for a while. Ty Davis-Price out for a while. Azeez with his knee, probably going to miss a couple weeks. I do believe DFF, Demetrius Fowles, will be that number 3 linebacker. He was great in spot duty, and 2 tight ends out of practice today, Tyler Kroft and Ross Dwelley, which is interesting. Means Warner's probably going to get a little bit of uptick in carries, and we could see a little bit more 3 wide receiver sets. We didn't see so much last week with Juwan Jennings, and he has had big monster games against the Rams. So I'm hoping that will continue. But yeah, DFF will be that number 3 linebacker. He played good last week. I expect to see more of that. So let's go. All right. Brian, give us your take. 49ers versus Rams. 49ers are favored. What the hell, man? How are they still favored every game?
So I just want to shout out. Last week, I picked the Rams covering correctly against the Cardinals. I picked the Falcons beating and covering the Seahawks. And the 49ers, I picked incorrectly. I guess I didn't see. Just a shout out to the Broncos defense for playing really well, but also on the other side of it, I know you've put a lot of this stuff on Twitter. Jimmy G with your play calls suck, man, and clearly Jimmy Garoppolo playing himself poorly, stepping out of the back of the end zone. Would have been a pick 6 even if he didn't do that. Just poor offensive play all around, but their defense still played great. And that's one of the things that I'm looking at in this game. And hey, let's look at the last time these two teams played at Levi Stadium on Monday Night Football. I was at that game. It was an absolute drubbing by San Francisco. They controlled the ball, really nice, long, orchestrated drives. This was Jimmy Garoppolo playing quarterback for you against essentially the same team. This was before they got Von Miller. They had just gotten Odell Beckham Jr., but he wasn't really up to speed. So they're very, very similar rosters, playing maybe some differences on the offensive line. Trent Williams is going to be missed. There's no way around that. Their pressure rate went up a whole 10% allowed once Trent Williams went out of the game last week. That's a concern. But at the end of the day, I'm giving the big edge here to the 49ers pass rush. The Rams have had trouble with their offensive line all year long. We've seen it in week 1 against the Bills and how much the Bills were able to absolutely just overwhelm Stafford with pressure. Stafford is actually has more interceptions than touchdowns this season. This offense is not firing on all cylinders. And the defense is not as good and as solid as it has been last year. You saw they allowed the Atlanta Falcons to come back into the game. But I think the biggest difference here is the 49ers will be able to get to Matthew Stafford, who has shown that he's not playing. Maybe it's the elbow thing. Maybe it's just, Super Bowl hangover, you name it. But whatever it is, he's not playing as efficiently, and his offensive line has big issues. Nick Bosa, fun fact, if you guys subscribe to Legit Football, we have a partnership with Pro Football Reference's StatHead. We have a new question every day with a trivia question, and then you can go over to StatHead and check the answer. Our question today was, who leads the NFL in QB hits? It's number 97 for the 49ers.
The shoulder shrug.
The shoulder shrug. So I like how this game sets up. I like this as a bounce back. We may have problems with the way Kyle Shanahan called that game and the fact that he called a press conference during 49ers rush. How dare you, Kyle? But
not cool, bro.
We have enough precedent. We have enough to think that Kyle's going to bounce back against a very familiar foe in McVay and the Rams, a team that they played very well last year, even in the playoffs, short of that, kind of falling down in the NFC Championship game. So I'm very confident in the 49ers, not only to win, but I picked them to cover. Confidence of 2. Let's be real here. This game could absolutely be like a 1-point, 2-point games. I've got the spread at 2.5 on Run Your Pool. Yeah, maybe it's my 49ers homerism talking to you guys every week and living in San Jose. But yeah, I'm going for the 49ers to bounce back here.
I like it. And, I'll be really, really honest with you. This game, it's huge. It means so much for the 49ers because you're 1-2. You're getting a lot of criticism. You haven't played well. They win this game. They're in first place. The division, they'll be 2-0 in the division. That would drop the Rams still 1-1 in the division. They'd win that tiebreaker. Now, obviously, you're not really focusing on that in week 4, but it matters. It matters to the locker room. It matters to the press. It matters to the fan base. It matters to the players. And you hate the Rams. They ended your season last year. There's just so much there. You've won 6 out of 7 games against this team. It just matches up well. The issue is good old number 10, who I love. He has one of those games, it's not going to matter. He has the ability to take the 49ers out of any option to win this game. We saw that last week with Denver. I think he's going to snap out of it. I really, really do. What are your thoughts on Jimmy Garoppolo moving forward?
Well, I quickly on the Rams side, I think they need to run the ball in order to have a chance in this game. Simply relying on Cooper Kupp. Kupp is produced in every single game. They kind of let the Cardinals back into the game. We got Ramillier Sports Report, a little spy work going on the other side.
I was on with them last night. I love it, man. They're great. They're one of the cool, they're chill, very even killed. They're friends over there. Shout out Todd. They're great. Tom's amazing. So anyway,
we're all California guys here. Let's keep it in the fam.
Yeah, let's keep it chill.
But yeah, that they have failed to establish the run game from Henderson or Akers. Akers actually flashed a little bit in the Cardinals game, but then he had a late fumble that allowed Arizona to stay in the game a little longer than they should. I think the Rams should have put up more than 21 points against this Arizona defense. We just talked about how bad they are, especially in the secondary. So they've underwhelmed. They got trounced in week 1. They almost let the Atlanta Falcons come back in week 2. This is not a Rams team that is dominating, even though they're at 2-1. And the 49ers defense is a top 2 or 3 defense. No matter what has happened with the Bears game and the horrible weather, no matter what happened with Jimmy G against a good Broncos defense, they still almost won that game. So I like the talent on the 49ers side. I like them playing at home. I like the last result when these two teams played on Monday Night Football, and I really like the edge on the pass rush for Bosa and that Niners defensive line. That's why I'm going San Francisco here.
I like it, man. And, here's the deal. Let's be honest. The Rams, they got Cooper Kupp. Might be one of the best, if not the best, wide receiver in the league. What he did last year, he's unreal. Can they finally stop him? They made changes to their own defense personnel. You allowed K'Wan Williams to walk. You allowed Jaquiski Tartt to walk. You bring in Diamador Lenore, Samuel Womack, and Hufanga. Can one of those guys answer the call and finally stop that slot fade that Cooper Kupp runs that just seems to I was talking about this on the show last night with the sports report, the Rams sports report. And whenever you watch the Cooper Kupp, NFL 100, their highlight reel they put together, 3 of them were slot fades against the 49ers last year. 3 of his highlights. You got to stop it. So you got to hit the quarterback and you got to cause problems. I expect a lot of turnovers this game. Stafford's still leading the NFL in interceptions, which he did last year as well. And so, that's nothing new. He's got to put the ball in jeopardy. 49ers fans can all tell you in that NFC Championship game when Tartt dropped that, interception that hit him right in the chest. Would that have changed the game? I don't know. The 49ers offense was completely stagnant by that point. But you have to take advantage of missed opportunities. The 49ers haven't done that. But I think there's going to be a lot of turnovers here.
I'm going to put a slight twist on that Kupp thing. I don't think you can stop Cooper Kupp. I don't think anyone in the NFL can stop Cooper Kupp. You have to limit him from making huge plays. You have to kind of keep them, let them catch 8 to 10 balls, but let them stay in the like 80 to 90 yard range. Keep everything in front of you. Don't allow the big play, because guess what? They don't really have another. Allen Robinson has not produced the way they hoped he would. Van Jefferson was recently put on IR. They were hoping to have him to start the season. There's no Odell Beckham Jr. And like I said, the run game isn't there. So you're a little bit one-dimensional, which is why I think Stafford has not thrown any touchdowns. Even though he led the league in interceptions, he also had a lot of touchdowns last year. The touchdowns have not come. Cooper Kupp is still producing. They got him a jet sweep touchdown. Cooper Kupp is going to produce. You just have to accept that. But if the rest of the Rams offense doesn't produce, if they don't step up in the run game, if Allen Robinson doesn't give them a legitimate second threat, then you can focus all your powers on slowing down Cooper Kupp. And that, I think, is a winning formula for San Francisco.
Yep. I like it. So we'll see. We're going to be doing a whole couple episodes just previewing this game. I got some more film. Plus, on top of that, we have our scouting report episode over on Patreon where we jump into the coaches tape, the all 22, baby. And we go through the offense, defense, special teams, all that stuff of what the Rams have done previously so that you'll be completely prepared and ready to go for that. So that will be coming out soon over on patreon.com/49ers Rush Podcast. But before we get out of here, a couple more things I do want to just highlight. We do have our party set up for Charlotte because the 49ers play against the Panthers in a week. We are going to be at Graham Street Pub and Patio right next to the stadium on Graham Street Saturday night. Tickets are available 49ersrushroadtrip.com, and our tailgate, which is going to be at Town Brewing Company, which again, right next to the stadium. So that way we get to watch the TVs, we get a party, walk to the stadium together. We've got trips planned for the entire year, every single road game, and with this gentleman in Miami, which is going to be fun. So come out, meet Brian. We're going to have a good time. What's up? Dan's got his tickets. I see you, Dan Case. I love it. Now, before we jump out of here real quick, Clayton, are there any more comments or questions that we want to get to? Ooh, I do see one. David, what's up, David? He says, will Jimmy Ward play in the slot when he gets back? Gibson has been really good. You're correct. And you agree with Richard Sherman. Richard Sherman tweeted this out, basically the exact same thing, that Gibson and Hufanga have worked so well. Maybe when Jimmy Ward comes back, you put him in the slot. It's a good situation for the 49ers to be in, to have so many quality players that you're struggling to get them all on the field. I think he goes back to free safety. That's what he wants. He's a captain of this team. I think he deserves that. I think you put Tayshaun Gibson on the back burner in special teams. And, man, I think you keep riding with Demo, that the young speed at slot corner with Samuel Womack backing him up. I love that formula. I really, really do. I think you move Tayshaun Gibson back personally, but yeah, we'll see there. Any other ones that we got to get to, Clayton? All right, we're good there.
I do want to mention, just looking ahead to this Carolina game, if the 49ers, as bad as you guys feel now at 1-2 after losing in that ugly fashion to the Broncos, you take out the Rams on Monday night, you have a very good matchup set up against the Panthers next week. All of a sudden, you're looking at 3-2, alone atop the NFC West.
Then Atlanta after that.
And then the Falcons after that, you know, arrow up. So keep in mind, huge game for multiple reasons Monday night against the Rams. Not that I need to tell you guys that.
And I'll say, like, this game's huge for the 49ers. Like, it's paramount. This one's circled. It's Monday Night Football, prime time. You laid an egg last prime time. Having said that, you lose this, you go 1-3. Guess what? Where were we last year? We were 2-4 and 3-5. Still made the NFC Championship. It's a long season. Is it a must-win? About as close as you can get in week 4. But the 49ers take care of business. They control their destiny. 49ers lose this week. All right. Now it's time to scrap and claw and dig your way out, which you don't want to be in that position this early. And I hope that they won't be. Sean says, I would like to see a battle for center with Brindle and Brunskill. Yeah, I want Brunskill starting. I have not been pleased at all with Jake Brindle's performance. Back-to-back games with fumbles lost on snaps alone. And so, yeah, no, I want Brunskill pretty handedly in there. We'll see how healthy he is. He was limited today. So
another X factor, going up against Aaron Donald. If you have not been playing well in the interior of the offensive line, that could be another X factor for LA.
Yeah, Brunskill has had his best games of his career against Donald, but those were at the guard position. But yeah, we'll have to see what goes on. We're gonna have to see there. Now, Brian, anything before we jump out of here that you want to share with us, my friend?
No, same as always, guys. If you're not already subscribed, legitfootball.com. I know Clayton had it down at the scroller earlier. 100% free, daily update. You guys are so entrenched in your 49ers stuff, which I get. But if you want just a quick 5-minute read each day to keep up with the rest of the league, legitfootball.com in your email address. It's free. If you like to keep hearing my crazy voice talking 30 minutes of football 5 days a week, we do a Thursday night preview that's at 4:30 Pacific, and we do our game picks against the spread. I know some of you have actually followed my picks, which I'm thankful for, and we explain those picks every Friday at 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern. Just look up 30 Minutes of Football, subscribe on YouTube. A couple people in the chat here are regulars. David Morazzo, I'm looking at you, and appreciate you guys. I'll see you next week for sure.
I love it, man. So just want to say thank you to the man behind the scenes, Clayton, always crushing it. He's incredible. And to our executive producers, we've got 49ers George 365 and Kilted Niner, the man, the myth, the legend. And if you came out to Denver, you know why he's called Kilted Niner. He showed up in a kilt to the game. It was absolutely incredible. Anyway, thank you guys. And thank you, Brian, as always bringing it. We'll be back next Thursday. And until then, stay strong, faithful.